There's a very strange phenomena that many of my clients face. There's a repetitive drawing in of destructive situations or people repeating for many years. You keep drawing in the same situation or drawing in the same people, which are abusive, toxic, use you seemingly out of nowhere. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything that should draw these people in. And so when you don't have an answer as to why, it begins to feel like a riddle, one that no matter how many times you're solving, it happens again. Because the answer to why this is happening is not in the world itself, it's in your own psyche. You keep meeting the same types of people, the same emotional entanglements, the same drama. It's just wearing different masks, presenting differently. Each time it happens, you think it's going to be different, but it's not. It's the same thing. Now, a lot of people will attribute this to coincidence, karma, fate, but it's none of these things. It's the repetitive compulsion of the unconscious. And the hidden architect of this is the shadow. Let me be clear, your shadow is not your enemy. It's not evil. It's not even wrong. It's just unseen. It's comprised of all the parts that you've had to hide of yourself, repress, disown in order to survive in the world. Desires that you've deemed shameful, grief that you've held for too long, truths that are not acceptable by the world around you, and so you've had to hide it. And so the shadow in you took these parts and buried them, and it constructed a plan for them. Because you see, your psyche is not foolish. That which is banished does not disappear. It becomes active and magnetic. It begins to draw to you again and again situations and people that match the original wound. It's not a system designed to punish you, it's designed to reveal itself to you. Now, if you find yourself in this situation and you're asking, why does this keep happening to me? Here's the answer to the riddle. The answer is both terrible, but it's also very liberating. It happens because you need it to, not consciously. Of course, we're not doing this consciously. Why would we draw these people in consciously? It's in the deeper architecture of your being. Your psyche seeks wholeness, and it will do so no matter what the cost, no matter how much the pain, no matter how much you're put out, it's going to make it happen. Because the most important thing to the psyche is validation. So the question is not, why is it happening? That's the wrong question to ask. Rather, ask yourself, are you finally willing to turn inward and speak to the one who has always known why? If you want to close these loops in your life, you want that same story that keeps playing over and over to end, then you're primed. You're ready. You're ready to stop asking why it happens and start asking the shadow what it wants you to know. Let me show you how. In order to get these answers, in order to close these loops, you need to get to know your shadow. To do this, you need to be able to speak to your shadow. So the question is, how do you speak to your shadow? First, stop treating this as an analytical problem. It's not a math problem. It's not a spreadsheet. Your shadow is a personality. It's a presence. It's a part of you that is alive. And it has a voice, and you can give it a face, and it's tired of being ignored. So let's start with this. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that the pattern you keep living has a personification, a physical structure. It has a personality, it has a voice, it has a face. Let yourself visualize it. What do they look like? What is their energy? Are they older? Are they younger? Familiar? What do they feel like to be around? Let yourself take some time to develop this. The more that you invest in the creation and definition of this imagination of your shadow, the better. It's going to add more potency to this book. Now, when you have this construct, that is your shadow. It's not a theory, it's now something that you can face. And it's much easier for us to actually come face to face with our problem rather than it being an invisible, unseen thing within you. So now you have this visualization, ask it some questions. The first question I would ask would be, what do you want from me? Wait for an answer. Listen deeply. Sometimes these answers come very quietly, like a whisper, an impulse, a thought. Or sometimes it's really loud, it's really aggressive, it's really angry, or it's this really deep sorrow. You need to hold space for whatever the answer might be. When you're ready, ask it. When did you first start protecting me? Because that's what they're doing, essentially. They're not trying to bring you down, they're trying to look after you. Ask it another question as well. What were you trying to stop me from feeling? Now, a lot of shadows will actually come in to stop you from being overwhelmed. Another good question might be, what are you so afraid will happen if I change? Remember, your shadow is static. It's stuck in the same perspective, the same memory loops. It never breaks out of them. It's afraid that if you change, it will disappear. It will no longer be valid. And if it's going to be there to protect you, it loves you so much that it will do anything to keep itself valid in order to do that protecting. These sorts of questions open the door to the real work. You're not forcing the shadow to go away. You're listening to why it's here. And by the way, if you're more visual than verbal, you can see these answers. Imagine them like a movie. Let the shadow show you a memory, a time when it stepped in to protect you or hide you. Let your body feel it. Let the image form. And that's another form of shadow. Once you've gotten some answers, once you start to see, aha, that's why. You can stop asking, why do I keep doing this? You can start asking, who in me keeps doing this? We stop being a victim of our patterns, and we start becoming someone who can break them. So what we're doing is by asking these questions and gaining a definition, is we're actually gaining a lot of clarity about who we are on a deeper level. We're no longer a victim in this situation. We're now a orchestrator of our own patterns. We take ownership of them. And you start becoming someone who can break them. Now, we do this with love, not force. We do this with understanding, with the right questions, with taking ownership of things. Your shadow doesn't have to act out secretly anymore when you have a relationship with it. It can actually keep your conscious mind, the ego, in the loop. What it really needs is for you to sit down, be quiet, and actually listen to it. Most people tend to live in their minds, in the ego realms, and they're not willing to do this, but they are willing to suffer the pain and anguish of repeating cycles. And this makes no sense at all. because it costs so much more energy to do that, so much more pain, so much more sorrow in going through these cycles than the short, sharp emotional pain of actually looking inside of you. And that's just logical. So the question is, what do you do after you do the dialogue? Once you've talked to your shadow, once it's told you what it wants, now you have a choice. You don't have to fix anything. It's about becoming that part of you who can fully take care of what the shadow was protecting in the first place. So here's a practice that you can actually take charge of right now. I want you to write a letter from your conscious self, the ego, to the shadow. Letters are very, very useful in this situation because it can actually allow you to channel out information to bypass some of the limiting beliefs. You can say in it, I see why you protected me that way. I see the pattern. I knew it was the only way you knew how to survive back then. Because remember, this is based on an old memory. I'm not that person anymore when that happened. You don't have to carry this alone. Make it a very personal letter. You'll find that this is quite a powerful process. And I know a lot of this is the bread and butter for a lot of shadow coaches is to write letters and journals. But that's because it's inherently useful. Notice the second thing you can do is to start noticing this pattern in real time. When you see it appearing in your life, start to pay deep attention to how it makes you feel. What's it showing you? If you've got this abusive person that comes into your life, what beliefs come up in you? It's like, oh, people always do this to me. Or I don't know why I can't draw in good people. Or I keep having bad luck all the time. These are your active limiting beliefs showing themselves to you. There's an emotional component. It's showing you how the shadow feels. This is the valid emotion that keeps coming up and repeat in your life. Now, remember, it has an original memory. When this first happened to you, that's what it felt like. That's what it said to you. That's its voice, that's its feeling. You can take that back and ask yourself straight off the bat, when did I first start feeling this? Once you can find that original memory, you can work with it. Use the Mu3 system I've taught you. So basically, this is what we call integration. Integration means that you don't run and hide from the original memory and the original emotions. You sit with it, you allow it to be real and have space, you dialogue with it, you can write journals or letters to it, you can just interact with it. What I suggest is to change your original memory. This is something I'm going to be covering in my next video. It's something that I have developed and I believe is the continuation and finalization of much of Jung's actual work. This is how do we transform the original memory and the original emotion into something inherently powerful and useful. Now, if this video spoke to something deep in you, if it helped you recognize a pattern you've been trapped in for too long, this is your invitation to keep going. Don't just listen to this video once, listen again. Go through this as many times as you need to, because these cycles need to end. You don't need to suffer unnecessarily. And you'll find that the world around you is less out of control than you realized. It's a reflection, it's a mirror of something beautiful inside of you or ugly. It depends on what you want to see. I would like to show you exactly what you need to see. Your real self, your genuine self. And the more that you do this work, the more that that genuine self will be uncovered within you, the clearer that you'll see it. These videos are not for the average person who is too afraid to look within. These videos are for brave explorers, deep divers, exceptional people. And I thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you next time.